Hi, I'm Annika, and I am an amputee. After complications of removing a tumor in my foot, I ended up amputating my leg below the knee. I created this page to educate people about disability, show people some of the cool stuff I do, and also some of the shenanigans I get into. So come join my journey in my life as an amputee.
Hey friend, like the intro said, my name is Annika, I am an amputee, and this is my story. So, we gotta go back to the beginning. I was born May 9th, 1996, 2:10 a.m. It was a Thursday. Now, I'm just messing with you. That is all true information though. Growing up, nothing out of the usual. I went to school, I am the youngest of my family, and I did ballet for all of my free time. I went off to college and realized very quickly that college was not for me. I didn't really like the social aspect of it. I didn't like to party. Decided that I just did not like school. I needed something that was fulfilling in my life. So through a weird chain of events, I ended up enlisting into the Marine Corps. That was a huge change for me. Pretty much everybody that I told I was enlisting said, "You're not gonna make it." Well, joke's on you guys. I did end up getting my degree. So my degree is in speech language sciences and technology, speech language pathology. You need a master's to practice, and I graduated with my bachelor's on Friday, and I left for boot camp the following Monday. When I went to boot camp, I fell in love with the Marine Corps. Like, it was the first place that I really felt like I belonged anywhere. We all had the same values and the same goals and the same ideas and the camaraderie and the sisterhood, the brotherhood, and embracing the suck, because trust me, there was a lot of suck. You know, they say misery loves company, so it was a good time. But yeah, I fell in love with the Marine Corps within like 2 weeks of being in boot camp, and decided that I was gonna spend 20 years, I was gonna commission the second I hit the fleet, do 20 years, and just be a Marine for life. Well, that changed very quickly. About 5 weeks into boot camp, I started feeling pain in my foot, so I went to my drill instructor and was like, "Hey, I am in a lot of pain." And quite frankly, she told me that I was being and I say that like in a joking manner, like this is no problems with her at all. That's kind of the Marine Corps way. She basically told me in a more politically correct way that everybody experiences pain. You have never endured this type of physical activity before, and you're just running more and you're doing all these things, so of course you're gonna be in pain. And Marines love to say pain is weakness leaving the body. So I kept that mindset that pain is just weakness leaving the body. And I finished boot camp, I finished combat training, and by the time I was in the schoolhouse learning my job, I was eating Advil like it was candy. And I just thought, this is what everybody's experiencing. Everybody's in pain. Everybody's just crying on their own time, taking Advil on their own time. This is normal. This is normal. It's fine. It's fine. I was actually forced to go to medical in November of 2017 because I was limping pretty bad after some of our PT sessions, after our runs, and I was forced to go to medical, and they told me I had a stress fracture. Spoiler alert, there was never a stress fracture. I was put in a walking boot, and little did I know I would be in that walking boot for 432 days. When my foot was supposed to have healed 8 weeks later, I was actually in more pain, and they're like, that's weird, we need to take an MRI. On February 1st, 2018, they said, "So you never really had a stress fracture, but you do have a tumor, but don't freak out." Those were his exact words. And so the type of tumor I had was never really pathologically confirmed. Everything always came back inconclusive, but we've determined that it most closely resembles an intramuscular arteriovenous vascular malformation. Now, the problem with this is mine was huge. It engulfed almost the entirety of the inside of my foot. It was causing all this swelling, and because this tumor is typically found on the brain and spinal cord, nobody really knew what to do with it in my foot. Like, it's great that it wasn't on my brain and spinal cord, but now what do we do? Because the foot is so intricate, there's so many nerves and tendons and bones all in such a condensed area that nobody really wanted to operate on my foot. The doctors tried several times to shrink the tumor, so maybe if we could shrink it enough, then we could take it out more successfully. But every single time that I had one of those procedures, I was in more pain, there was more swelling, and my tumor was continuing to grow. Eventually, there was a doctor that decided, hey, we're gonna actually operate on it, we're gonna try to remove it, see what happens. And unfortunately, that was kind of against my wishes, my decisions. I called my medical case manager, said, hey, this doctor said for months that she doesn't want to operate on my foot, and today in pre-op she told me that she's going to operate on my foot. And she said, as a patient, you have all the rights to deny medical treatment. However, you are in the Marine Corps, you are on an administrative board, and if you deny medical treatment, that will be in your paperwork, and basically you'll get out with no benefits. So I went forward with the surgery with the hopes that it was gonna do well and the hopes that, hey, like maybe we can actually fix this and I can go back to being a Marine. That didn't happen. I ended up with pretty severe infections, and I'm gonna do an entire video later about my infections and my experience with Marine Corps medical, actually naval medical. But I ended up with a lot of infections, from cellulitis to osteomyelitis to staph. At that point, I was so prone to infection. I was in and out of hospitals. My chronic pain and nerve damage and everything was just so bad. I was begging them to cut off my leg. And it took a while, and it took a lot of convincing that I did not have BIID, which is body integrity identity disorder, so the people that believe that they should be amputees. Which was a silly thing to me, because I'm like, I'm not just some random person walking into a hospital and be like, you know what, doc, cut off my leg. Like, I had gone through these surgeries, I had a tumor in my foot, like there was a real reason why I wanted my leg amputated. But yeah, I had to fight for it because doctors want to save everything and they want to preserve, and like, of course I would have loved to keep my leg if it was a working leg. I don't want to keep a leg that was dealing with the complications I was. Fast forward several months of many more failed procedures, and on April 2nd, 2019, they finally cut off my leg. And I say that in a good way because it honestly was one of the best days of my life. Because after months of failed surgeries and knowing I'm gonna go into the hospital and knowing that I'm gonna get infections and knowing that this is just an ongoing procedure that is just gonna turn into the next infection, turn into the next issue, this was the first time in my life that there was light at the end of the tunnel. Because my mental health was not doing well during my limb salvage period, the period that they were trying to save my leg. With that being said, so much has happened since I lost my leg. I did end up being medically retired from the Marine Corps. I decided that I have enough medical issues that I would not be a valuable Marine in the Marine Corps. I would not be deployable. So I decided, as much as it sucks and as much as I still fight myself for it to this day, being a Marine wasn't my option anymore. But I'm making the best with the situation that I have. So I actually have gotten out and fallen in love with sports. When I was in Wounded Warrior Battalion, you're actually required to do a certain amount of sports, and they have all the coaches and everything, and it's kind of to help you recover through whatever your illness or injury is. Fell in love with sports. Keep in mind, I did ballet growing up. I had no sports. Like, my high school didn't even offer PE. I did my first DoD Warrior Games at 8 weeks post-amputation and took home 2 silver medals for Team Marine Corps. I've now gone on to the 2022 Warrior Games and took home several gold medals. I actually lost track of how many, but I'm actually representing Team US at the Invictus Games this year in 5 different sports, being track, field, swimming, wheelchair, rugby, and table tennis. I'm super excited for that. I volunteer coach for kids with amputations. I have become a model, and I've modeled for a lot of big brands like Target, Athleta, Kohl's. I was in a USAA commercial, which was huge for me, and after that commercial, it was actually the reason I moved to LA, because I realized that, hey, this is something that could be fun for the time being, and I'm still trying to figure out my place in this world post-Marine Corps. Most recently, I've found my love for public speaking, and I love talking about disability and disability awareness and resiliency. It's been a long journey. It's been about 4 years since I lost my leg, and I've learned a lot along the way. So I created this platform originally to kind of just show my friends and family what was going on with PT, and I realized that a lot of people found it interesting. And so between all of my social media platforms, I love to teach people about things that I've learned along the way. The new biggest goals are Paralympics. Definitely have my eyes set on 2026. I maybe have my eyes set on 2024. Stand by for that. That one's a big goal, so I don't really know if I'm gonna make it. That is my story. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I missed, but I'm just so glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad to be making YouTube videos again, because I took a pretty long hiatus because, you know, mental health was not doing good, but It is stabilized now. I am on medications now, and things are going all right. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm actually gonna probably recreate a lot of my videos from the past now that I know better. I know how to explain it better. I've been in my body longer. So yeah, join me for all of it. I appreciate you guys more than you guys will ever know, and you're the reason that I keep going some days. So keep your chin up wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.